Hey everyone, this is it. I'm gonna make my first Linux distro tier list for all the Linux gamer out there. Yes, I'm doing it. So let's get into it. As always, we're gonna start with a little bit of context. This distro ranking is really oriented for my personal use that could be also yours. Now, let me explain. What I do with this PC on a daily basis is game and create content. That's all. I would say on the side, obviously, I'm going to do like a little bit of accounting, a little bit of browsing, a little bit of chatting. But my main goal is really like gaming and content creation and make sure I can game in the best condition possible, but also like create content. It sounds like it's an easy task, but listen to me, like on Linux, it's not that easy when it comes to choose your distro. The second point I want to mention here is that I'm using an NVIDIA card. So I know a lot of you out there are maybe on Windows and are using an NVIDIA card. And if you read of all those posts around and you go on those forums dedicated to open source and Linux, you will notice there is a lot of hate about the NVIDIA card in general for this space. But you're going to be surprised that there is a lot of distribution that will like welcome you open arm when it comes to using your favorite GPU. And I guess in this case, it's an NVIDIA card. It is the case for me. I own a 1490 RTX. And this is some of my choice. Obviously, I'm going to be already heading towards that direction. If you use the AMD card, you might have, in certain case, not all of it, but in certain case, like a little like different perspective on things. But I would say you won't be that far from my, I would say, like feeling and experience with those Linux distro. Now, third point, all the distro I'm gonna mention here and I'm gonna put on this table there is distros that actually test and use for at least 15 days in hard on my computer. I'm not doing theory crafting here. I'm not using VM. I'm not doing all of this. Those are distros I use through challenges or through my personal research. And one of the really important points was to make sure I use them for at least 15 days. So what you're gonna hear here, can I say that? What you're gonna hear here? Yeah, I guess I can. So what I'm gonna say is really based on true experience. So I'm not blaming anyone to, test Linux distro in VM, but I can guarantee you there is a big difference between theory and actually like practice. Now let's get into the table itself. So at the top, you're gonna have the best, which are like for me, the best distro for my usage. Then you're gonna have the almost best, which means like those ones, they could have been the best, but there is a little something that puts them behind. Now you have the okay, but. So those ones are gonna be the distro you could use without any, I would say like big problem, but they would have been like, or they would be kind of like destroyed in terms of like usability or performance of something that is just missing to put them above. So in this case here, I want to be super clear, like you could use them, no problem, but you could have maybe a better experience with the one which are above. No thanks will be like, you could use them, okay, but it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of hassle to make them work as good as the one above. And hell no, it's just like a no-go. Can you run them on your machine? Of course. But for my usage, it's just not possible. It's going to be too much headache, too much problem, too much like time trying to make your operating system work instead of doing what you are supposed to do. In my case, game and create content, I would say like 80-85% of the time. So let's start with the first one, Arch. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be upset, but again, this is my vision and this is my perspective on distribution for gaming and content creation. And Arch, in my opinion, believe here in okay, but. This is a mother distro. It's a great distro, don't get me wrong. But Arch requires a lot of work and requires the user to put his hand under the hood. And as a gamer and a content creator, sometimes you just don't want to do that. You just want to have just a final product which works. And obviously you can get there if you spend time and you learn a lot about Arch and how to set it up, how to configure it to a certain level. In my opinion, there is better alternative, and that's why it's gonna be here. Can you game on it? Obviously you can. Is that one of the best distro? Yes, I love it. But there is better, and there is, I would say, like more hassle-free type of distro, which is gonna give you the same type of result without having to put your hand under the hood. Now, Debian. Okay, so Debian. Listen, man, I just get out from this challenge. I've been running it for more than 20 days as a daily driver. Is it a good distro? Man, this is my first love type of distro, okay? I've been using it for more than 20 years on server. This distro is one of the most stable distro you will ever use. But when it comes to content creator and when it comes to gaming, man, this is so hard, especially if you have an NVIDIA card. You're gonna be in this position where you have to install your driver manually if you wanna have the latest feature. It's a pain. It's just a pain. Does it work? Of course it works. But the amount of time you're gonna have to put to reach, I would say, like a level of peace when it comes to like start a game and making sure you have everything set up right off the bat, it's just too much work in my opinion. So Debian, I'm sorry, but this is where you belong when it comes to gaming and content creation. Now, one of my favorite ever, EndeavourOS. So I'm gonna put it at the best there. So EndeavourOS is a distribution based on Arch. And it comes with all the steam and whistle possible without being super bloated. To me, it's a super lean distribution that will give you like a first step in the world of Arch. And if you don't want to spend too much time learning from scratch how to use Arch, I would say like pure or core, I think EndeavourOS is one of the best to get there. So I will recommend it. It's just awesome. Ready, like try it. That's all I have to say. Performance are here. You get the advantage of using the AUR. You get the advantage of their forum, which is huge with a lot of documentation on top of the Arch wiki. So you are really in a position where you can learn without a lot of like difficulty. And that's why I love this distribution. Now Fedora. Oh man, Fedora. So Fedora, I kind of love the philosophy of Fedora. On paper, it's wonderful because this is a distro that kind of innovate and push the limit of the Linux desktop. There is nothing to say about that. They are doing an awesome job there. We owe them a lot of innovation from the team from Fedora and Red Hat in general. I would say like they do a lot of work. However, when it comes to using their distro on a daily basis and trying to game on it, oh boy. In my opinion, there is, again, like too much work to do. So it's not at a level of a Debian where everything is like plugged and, you know, you have to really go out of your way to get there, but you still have to work your way up there. On top of that, I would say like the COPR, the copper, I don't know, you call that, the equivalent of the AUR. It's slow. There is not a lot of thing to grab out of it. The DNF package manager is kind of slow too. So you're in this position where why would you use that if you have an alternative like Arch or EndeavourOS? To be fair, I don't know, but I would say it's okay to use it, but it's just too much work. Now, I don't know if you recognize it, but this is Garuda. So Garuda is an Arch-based distro really focusing on a sleek and I would say like crazy desktop environment, and also optimize gaming approach with specific kernel for gaming, specific optimization for the task, like a lot of like optimization under the hood. And also a crazy amount of software you can install out of the bat. Why is just almost best? My issue with Garuda is that it could come as bloated. So, you know, if you quit Windows because there is too much stuff in it, well, I'm not sure you want to get into Garuda because they propose a lot of stuff. It's kind of like bloated in my opinion. They have different ISO you can go from and choose. There is one which is called Kinoite. And this one would be like one of my favorites to go to. But the issue with this one is that you have to do everything on your own. Okay, they even say it on their website, but they're like, yeah, you can go with it, but you're on your own. We don't provide so much support towards it. And that's why it's not, in my opinion, the best distro out there. However, if you are into gaming and you want to go into the Arch world and have a distribution which is already optimized and ready, like, I would say, customized to a point that you have never seen before, I would say give it a try. Garuda is solid, but I can put it to the best because this is not there yet. I think they have a lot of like unbloat to work on and give, you know, a proposition which is, in my opinion, a little bit smaller in terms of footprint. Now Gentoo. Okay, so Gentoo, it's one of my favorite distro too. Okay, but for gaming and content creation, I will put it in no thanks. So Gentoo, the way it works is like it's really ready for advanced user. You need to understand everything and you need to be at a level where you have time to compile and you have time to really take care of your machine. And for a gamer and a content creator, the goal is not to work on the operating system to make sure it's optimized to gain like 2% of increased performance overall. I think, at least in my usage, I really focus on having a computer which works right off the bat, which has like a distribution which is super easy to install. And unfortunately, Gentoo is, in my opinion, hard. Now, can you game on it? It's like Debian. Of course you can. But you're going to have to take in consideration that you're going to have to compile a lot. You're going to have to be behind every type of update, make sure that everything goes well. And in my opinion, it's a little bit too hard. For example, if you come from Windows or if you are a beginner. So for this reason, I will put it in no thanks. But still a great distro, okay? Don't get me wrong. I love Gentoo. Now, Kubuntu. I will put it at okay, but. So Kubuntu is a version of Ubuntu packaged or delivered with a KDE desktop environment. Ubuntu comes with GNOME, Kubuntu comes with KDE. It's a solid distro. Like me, if I had to choose and if I was a beginner, I will certainly like put it in my top 10. Obviously, this is what I've done here. But the issue with like Kubuntu is like you can have like hardware issue like I had on my machine that could be a little bit problematic. I was not able to install Kubuntu on my PC for whatever reason. I think the way they manage the NVIDIA driver is kind of like half-half. And they come with this proposition, which is, in my opinion, not finished. So that's the first point. I would say like with NVIDIA, it can be a win or a loss. The second one is related to the politic of Ubuntu in general and trying to force snap. I'm not a fan of the snap. And even if Kubuntu is great, as a snap, sometimes it can be a lot of pain. Can you use it? Of course you can. Can you have a great experience for gaming and content creation? I guess you can. But there is better out there. Listen to me, there is just better. So that's why it's gonna stay there. Now, one of my big surprise and one of my, I would say like almost best distro is Linux Mint. So Linux Mint for me will be the best distro to switch from Windows to Linux. And I don't put it here at the best level. I'm going to explain why. If you come from Windows, this is the one. Like, this one is the one, because they create such a great product, which gives you such a great performance in gaming, and obviously based on Ubuntu, but they kind of got rid of everything that I hate in Ubuntu. So first, they come with Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a desktop environment, and I noticed like I had great performance with my NVIDIA card on Cinnamon. Like, actually, I was really surprised. It's a good desktop environment, and kudos to them. Second point is like Linux Mint really look like Windows kind of, so you won't be lost in the menu, in the way you open your Windows and everything. Like, it's kind of like straightforward for a Windows user. And last point, I would say like the installation and everything is so easy. Like, it's so easy. So to me, it's one of the best, if not the best. If you are a beginner, it's the best. Like, go there, you won't be disappointed. But if you are an advanced user, you're gonna see some limitation for Linux Mint. So I made a full video about it. I really encourage you to go watch it. But the idea is that Linux Mint, you're gonna arrive at a threshold where it kind of lack flexibility when it comes to testing new things. You see, with a base Arch, it's really easy for me to switch NVIDIA driver really fast. It's really easy for me to manage all my packages in a way which is super efficient. On Linux Mint, it's going to require an extra step of work. That's why it's not, in my opinion, the best yet. The issue is based on Ubuntu, and obviously the package manager, in my opinion, is a little bit under compared to Pacman, and it comes with their own trouble. But again, Linux Mint, for beginner, go for it. Now, Ubuntu. Oh boy, people are going to be upset about this one, and you might not understand, but for me, Ubuntu is a hell no. No, no, and no. It's just not possible at all. So why? So Ubuntu on paper is delivered with GNOME. That's the deal, okay? That's why Kubuntu is here. And that's why like Linux Mint, which is based on Ubuntu, is up there. Ubuntu by itself is kind of like GNOME plus Snap. And those two, like philosophy, two software, I just hate. It just doesn't work on my machine. It's a pain. So let me explain. As a gamer, you want to have the latest like technology available. GNOME doesn't even deliver VRR or G-Sync. You can't have it yet. They're still working on it. I'm like how? KDE has been pushing it for like almost a year now. Why can they do it? So that's the first thing with GNOME. Second problem I had with GNOME as a content creator. So the first one was more gaming related. Second one is related to the management of screen space. I have like 4 monitors there, and I just reached the hard limit of what I can do with GNOME. Like GNOME is great if you have like 1 or 2 monitors. When you go at like 3, 4, 5 or whatever monitor you have, it's gonna be a pain to manage. I can guarantee it. So that's the reason why, right? As a content creator, obviously you can work on 1 monitor, but you will really soon learn the hard way that the more monitor real estate you have, the easier it is to do your workflow. And yeah, to me, it's a big no-no. And I won't talk about Snap and everything related to Ubuntu. For me, it's a hell no. So yeah, if you want to game and create content on Ubuntu, good luck. Now, OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. So this is the Tumbleweed one, okay? And OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, I'm going to put it at almost the best. I've been surprised by this distribution when I made the challenge on it. The game performance is awesome. The product they deliver with KDE is just top-notch. The installation, even if it looks archaic, it gives you a lot of options. And if you are a beginner, this is a great way to jump into the rolling release type of distribution, in my opinion. I have nothing but good to say about OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. I would really encourage you guys to try. So why is it not the best? And it's not the best because I do believe they have some work to do on their server. The server issue I had with them and the package, I would say like manager, it's called Zipper. I think it's really slow to install things. It's just so slow. And because you have to go through the package manager like numerous times, you will see like it become kind of like annoying to go through this install and go through this update, and having this package manager so slow compared to something like Arch, for example. Is that something that's gonna ruin your gaming experience and content creation experience? Not at all. But it's something that kind of like tap on my nerve on the long term, and that's why it's not the best. But if they improve that, I do believe like it will be in the best of the best in my tier list for sure. Now Manjaro. Oh boy, Manjaro. Where are we gonna put this one? I'm gonna have to put it in hell no. Yeah. I'm gonna have to put it in hell no. So they're gonna be saying like, Air Max, like your tier list doesn't make any sense. You praise Arch and Arch-based distro here, but then you put Manjaro, which is an Arch-based distro, in hell no. Well, Manjaro is not really Arch. It's not Arch. And I know some of you guys are going to be upset, but this is the truth. Manjaro, it's a own product on its own. The way they deliver it, it kind of like, to me, is a big reduction of Arch. So yes, it's easy to install. Yes, on paper, it's easy to maintain. But on the other hand, Manjaro does not follow the Arch repository. They have their own repo. They have their own vision. And I have to say it's a problem because if you want to use the AUR, which is in my opinion like the best value added that Arch provide to all the users and the community, well, if you install AUR on Manjaro, I will give around like 2 weeks to 1 month before it breaks, depending on how much obviously like AUR application you're going to install. And this is the issue with Manjaro. It's kind of like based on Arch, but it's not really Arch. And it gives you the illusion you are there, but you are not really there. And it makes it like installable if you want to push the limit of it. So, my opinion, avoid it until they change their philosophy. But no, it's a no-go for me. Now, the good surprise of the year. CachyOS. And CachyOS, I'm going to put it in the best case there. I'm going to tell you exactly why I believe it's the best distro out there right now for the, I would say like advanced user. It comes with so much optimization that none of the distro out there is able to, just rivalize with them. In terms of gaming, you will have the latest optimized kernel pre-compiled for you. You will have the latest like NVIDIA driver installed out of the box. You're going to have the latest and everything config super smooth when it comes to desktop environment and when it comes to Proton experience. You're going to be bleeding edge of the bleeding edge. And on top of that, you're going to have access to optimize packages specifically for the CPU you use. So all of those points, and I'm pretty sure I forget a lot here. I made a full video also about this distro. I really invite you to go check about it. It makes the distro one of the easiest to install, to maintain, and to take advantage of. Like this distro is just awesome. You're gonna have the best, most fluid experience in game ever. Like this is just awesome. Like I'm gonna tell you guys, I have like 270 Hertz monitor here with a 4090, and the fluidity in game, maybe not the average FPS, you might be a little bit under, but the fluidity is above everything else. So yes, CachyOS, one of the best out there. I'm gonna stop praising him, just go try it if you feel like it, but this is really solid. Now, I have to talk about this one because this one was also an interesting experience. So I don't know if you recognize it, but this is Fedora Kinoite, which is a branch of Fedora, which are like immutable type of distro. So this distribution on paper, there's a feature on Linux, and I can't deny it. But my opinion towards them is like they are not ready for daily usage. And depending on what you do, especially if you are gaming or creating content, this is gonna put a lot of issue when it comes to install application or when it comes, to customize your kernel and get to a point where you have a distribution which is really optimized for gaming. There is distribution out there which are supposed to be immutable and already optimized for gaming. This is not the case for Kinoite. So yeah, you could game on it, but you're gonna put, obviously, performance behind. And on a daily basis, even if it looks super glamorous, the updates, they take a lot of time. It's a pain, in my opinion. It's just too much hassle for not a lot of gain. Maybe in the future, but now on, I would say no. And the latest one here, Nobara. So Nobara is a distribution based on Fedora made by Glorious Eggroll and his community. I've tested it and I kind of liked it. It comes with a lot of like upgrade and optimization compared to a Fedora. It's not bloated at all. So you still have this genuine like experience of Fedora, but with all the optimization that come with it. So for example, Fedora, because of the law in the United States of America, they can't deliver specific codec. They have a lot of restriction. Well, by installing this one, Nobara, you're going to bypass all of it. It comes with all the packages for creating content. It comes with everything delivered out of the box. So you're going to tell me, like, Air Max, like, why are you not putting it into the best type of, distro out there? The issue I have with that is like it's still based on Fedora. I would have loved to have Glorious Eggroll like doing his work on another base. Let's say maybe a Debian, if you want to go very crazy. But I understand why you would not do that. But maybe Ubuntu or Arch. It comes with all the little issues related to Fedora too, like the packet manager, all the different things that for me, I can say this is the best. It's almost the best, definitively. It's better than average. You're gonna have like great experience gaming and creating content. But I would say you're gonna be still not as good as on a base on Arch. And you're gonna be really dependent of the work of Glorious Eggroll. You don't have AUR. So if you want to do something else that has not been done by Glorious Eggroll, well, you're gonna be on your own. And that's the reason why, to me, it's almost the best, but it's not the best. So here we are. There is all the distro I had the opportunity to try in hard, I would say, on my PC for the last 12 months. So what do you think? Did I forget something? What will be your approach when it comes to gaming and content creation with those distros? So I think the next step related to this type of like work and video I'm going to make in the future will be to obviously like add more distributions there. And I think this is where I need your help. Can you put me in the description below what type of distribution you would like me to try? Because I've been doing all those challenges and I'm really thinking about maybe like changing the format of it. I think 30 days might be a little bit too long. I think 15 days should be enough for me to have a solid idea about the distribution itself, the one I'm trying. But if you want me to try a specific distro, don't hesitate again to put it in the comment below. I have a solid list for this year of 2024. And I'm going to continue my challenges for sure. But it's going to be, I would say, like a higher pace. Not one distro every month, but more like a distro every 15 days, because I kind of enjoy that. And they give me a really like a different perspective of this distribution when it comes to gaming and content creation. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And I want to also thank you all the generous donators that have been helping me financially. Guys, you're the best. And I guess I will see you in the next one. Take care and bisous bisous.